Types of transactions. Now this is an area that you're going to need to be familiar with. So we've decided to introduce a business to help you do this. And we've got a farm shop who's owned by a friend, Tom. And this Kent farm shop is going to enter into and undertake all sorts of different transactions. And you're going to need to understand how these transactions, business transactions, turn into business documents and then into recording into the accounts. This farm shop, what's it going to have to do? Well, think about it, and think about any business that you're involved in. The farm shop is going to undertake a number of transactions. So they're going to sell goods and services on credit or for cash. They could be supplying a restaurant on 30-day terms, for example. Okay, they're going to have to buy goods either on credit or for cash. They might pay cash for a local farmer. They may buy from a wholesaler's on credit. And then that money is going to be paid into the business bank account. They're going to have paying out of the business bank account. He's going to obviously need to earn some money for himself, so he's going to have to pay himself some money. We will call that drawings. When a sole trader has their own money, they pay drawings, comes out of the business, and there will be taxes to pay, such as VAT. So all of the transactions need to be correctly recorded in his business accounts and records, and that's quite important. And the tax man is going to show a keen interest in those business documents. So first of all, you have a transaction, and that business transaction will generate some form of business document. And that business document is either going to be able to, we're going to be able to reference that to the accounting process, and it also gives us evidence of the transaction, potentially for legal purposes, in case there's any dispute at some time. And this is really important. And those documents are then making sure that the accounts then become accurate and we can have them properly checked. All right, some different types of transactions that you're going to need to know about and what sort of documents are required. So this table here produces a good list that you should be able to use and learn. So we've got cash sales or cash purchases, credit sales, credit purchases, returns of goods for some reason, things are faulty or unwanted, and the types of notes that you're going to need now. Please note here, debit note, which is a formal request for a credit note. These are normally only used by large organisations. Small businesses generally don't use debit notes, and in fact they're quite rare. You're not likely to come across them very often. Please note sales invoices and till receipts. Till receipts also need to contain things potentially like your VAT number if you're VAT registered, and so on. You'll have a look at that on your garage receipts. If you go and buy petrol, what sort of information needs to be recorded on a till receipt, which, although not an invoice, needs to retain a certain amount of information. Right, so please make sure you are familiar with the documents in this table for the types of transaction. This is likely to be multiple choice. Some other documents that you need to be aware of are remittance advice notes and petty cash vouchers and statements. And potentially you could get one of these in your exam to actually look at and make entries in or comment on what it's actually telling you. So remittance advice notes, these are when the payment is made by the customer and it says which invoices are being paid. It's a notice of payment, and it helps to reconcile it, particularly if they're also deducting credit notes. So it helps to reconcile the cash or cheque received with the invoices that are being paid. Petty cash vouchers, well, many people will have come across these. These are small vouchers, normally going in the tin just to record what has been spent on petty cash. And statements, well, a business with credit customers, they send statements of account, normally monthly, and there's normally a statement run. It also shows which invoices are outstanding, and also gives the customer opportunity to raise any queries about the amount owed. So very important, statements of account. So make sure you're familiar with those. Now we've put together a little invoice here, and this shows the sorts of things that you need to include on an invoice, and you need to know this. So potentially in your exam you could be asked to say which numbers are missing or which items are missing from the invoice. So very important. Supplier's name, sequential numbering, very important. The address, things like that. Date, customer number, potentially customer code, any order number that would be on, and VAT if it's payable, and the terms that are payable there, and you'll also see the VAT number. So make sure you're familiar with what goes on an invoice, and potentially this customer code or a customer code, you will need to know what the customer coding systems are for your exam. So little things to highlight really. Customer code, pointed that out. The goods ordered, the quantity, some description, any unit price. All of those things need to be detailed on an invoice, and the payment terms. So we'll look at other business documents when we come to the next video.